Cześć! Witajcie w czwartym odcinku z gry Remains of Edith Finch. W poprzednim odcinku dowiedzieliśmy się, jak zginął nasz dziadek Sam, który bardzo lubił zabijać zwierzęta. No i zwierzęta się odwdzięczyły. A teraz znaleźliśmy pokój Gregorego i Gasa. Down to nasza mama. Zatem zobaczmy, jak zginął Gregory, który miał zaledwie rok. Divorce contract.
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it.
Nie pewnie się utopił
He saw
albo
things the rest of us don't.
coś. Chyba, że ja muszę ruszać, czy... Jesteśmy żabką.
Bath time's over, Gregory. It's time to... Hold on, sweetie. Hello? Sam, I told you I don't want to talk right now.
I wonder what he saw. What his world was like.
O!
He reminded me so much of Calvin. Lost in his imagination. Whatever it was, he saw.
Chciałem te literki nie da się tych literek. Ale może uda się wyskoczyć? O! Tam są u góry, patrzcie. O!
Sure made him happy.
O! No co jest? Wiem chyba. O! No, było. O. Aha. Dobra, już widzisz. O.
I know how silly it sounds.
I co on zjadł? Wypił ten płyn
But I
cały
worried
albo
about
coś?
baby being too happy. But I could feel him slipping away.
Sorry about that, Gregory.
I know you did everything you could. Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
Damn it. Hold on, I don't want Gregory to hear this.
I wish he could have told us about the world he saw.
No i się
There's so much I don't understand about Gregory, about everything. But I know what happened wasn't your fault. I'm sure he's happy. And he'd want you to be happy too. Good luck, Kay. Love, Sam.
No, sami Kay. A jest data na tych papierach rozwodowych? Których już nie zobaczymy? Jest ten baby bubble. Gaz miał 13 lat. Wiersz dla
A
Gasa.
poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard. My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart. I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, "We don't need a stepmom," were the words that I remember.
Husband and wife. You may just cry.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to
Come here.
But Gus declined and as a sign held up his middle finger.
Dobry 13-latek. Tak, nie wiem sterować tym latawcą, przepraszam.
The wind picked up and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent.
Ach, bo to jest... wiersz.
The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made. The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder."
Co piorun w niego walnął? O, tam jest. A.
I I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea and foam. But I didn't. Until we found you.
Naprawdę musi być klątwa, bo takie historie i to jeszcze w takiej proporcji to statystycznie się nie zdarzają.
She never
Masakra.
talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
Hm. 13 lat. Ale faka pokazał ładnego, nie? To trzeba... Tu jest ten latawiec. O tu. Faka pokazał ładnego, no. Plan ewakuacji. House rules. No playing outside without permission. No answering door for strangers. No messes after dark. All chores before dark. Respect others. I plan ewakuacji. O, tu jesteśmy. Ten mały pokoik? Coś tu mi nie pasuje. Mały pokoik przy ścianie, taki narożny. Ewidentny ten plan ewakuacji nie jest stąd. Ewidentnie. Też tu jest gaśnica. Gdzieś tu jest fragment przy ścianie. Ale to są dwie ściany. To nie. Nie, to nie jest. To jest zły plan ewakuacji. Ale super.
My
Też
mom
takie
moved
bym
up to the
chciał.
loft after her brothers died. At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
O rany, ale
My
super.
mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
A. Indianina. Jakby co to żart. O, można zjechać. Ui. Dobra, a teraz musimy jeszcze raz wchodzić. Sanjaya? Sanjay. Jest Sanjay. Wait. Moment. Miałem teorię, ale Molly i Barbara mi tą teorię zniszczyli. No bo zobaczcie, Calvin szybko zmarł. Sam tam 33 lata, no ale to wciąż, nie? Eddie długo, kobieta, nie? Walter, facet, no 50 lat, ale tylko, że się skitrał. Gus, Gregory po kilkanaście lat. Nasza mama, Dawn, też zdecydowanie dłużej, tam 48 lat. Lewis, Milton, faceci, również po kilkanaście lat. No i niestety już myślałem, że odkryłem pewien schemat, ale niestety Molly i Barbara to wszystko psują. No. To muszą być prawdziwe zdjęcia.
Religion was another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died. Lewis was born a year later.
Milton. Milton zaginął. Tu jest
When my
przejście
dad died,
dalej.
I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back.
Edith, Milton, Lewis. Ale fajne.
The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that. And for a while, things were good. Almost normal.
Oni się w szkole, oni się w domu uczyli. Lewis. Rose. Great job. Awesome. Nie.
But it didn't last. The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle.
Milton.
After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
Chyba jakoś pewnie da się wspiąć. Nie. Okej. A! Okej, dobra. Widzę. Pędzę. A tam dalej lampka czerwona świeci. Przy tym wraku. Wow. Nie, no to był Milton, to był zamek Miltona. A to jest Lewis pewnie. Tak? Lewis, no.
Everyone always told me to stay out of Lewis's room. Except Lewis.
Oh. Okay. Nie wiem, czy to dalej iść. Moment. No to są te liny. Może by wskoczyć, ale nie mam czym wskoczyć. A! Tu jest okno. Ach, ci.
Lewis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
Jakaś konsola, ale bez telewizora.
Lewis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
High school diploma. Jest jeszcze jakiś hint? Chyba nie. Zobaczmy zatem.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life. He kept working at the cannery, but he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to wander.
W sumie fajna.
I asked him to describe it.
Dobra. Okej. Ja tak nie umiem. W sensie palcami, nie, że w głowie też tak.
He said he started small, imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats. And toads.
Tu.
And things that have not names. He knew it was all in his head.
Jeżeli mam głupią minę, to tylko dlatego, że próbuję się skupić.
But he took it very seriously.
Czekajcie. Spróbuję trochę z tymi rybami podgonić. Dobra.
I had hoped he'd find himself. But he found something more. I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on.
Powinien sobie przyciął łapę.
I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first.
No bo coś ten deseń, nie?
He told me he'd made a new friend. On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia.
Lewistopia.
He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians. And songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band. and he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination. So he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor. And he won. They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him. He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville. St. Louis. He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis, until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Louis kept sailing on. In Louisburg, he heard rumors of a handsome queen.
Czy ja tam mogłem wybrać?
The queen was on her own quest for radiant rainbows. He followed the sound of her silver harp. His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound. He knew the world was all in his imagination.
To jest ta królowa? Ona jakaś taka...
But he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king. For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Louis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him. He began to forget the world we know. I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker. He began to despise the man with a royal contempt. I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions. Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on advising him.
Sorry, że się w ogóle nie odzywałem, nic i tak dalej, ale po pierwsze na początku się skupiałem, żeby to robić te czynności, a po drugie wkręciłem się w tą historię Louisa. Tak mnie zaciekawiła, że zapomniałam przez chwilę, że to nagrywam. Autentycznie.
His queen waited, holding his crown.
Czemu ta królowa jest taka gruba?
There was only one thing left to do. Bend down his head. And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
To chyba tak najbardziej współczesna, najbardziej prawdopodobna współcześnie historia. Jeśli chodzi o takie...
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed. But I understand why we left.
No, mieszkanie w takim domu to musiało być
My
masakra.
mom ended up leaving everything behind. What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner. But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night.
Ale o wydarzeniach ostatniej nocy i historii Edith dowiemy się dopiero jutro. Tymczasem mam nadzieję, że wytrzymacie. Życzę wam udanego wieczoru, dobrego snu i wspaniałego poranku. I przy okazji Spójrzcie na tą kulę, jaka ona jest zajebista. Zwróćcie uwagę, że te napisy, one są wyświetlone z tej kuli na środku. Jaki to jest świetny pomysł. Też takie coś chcę. Normalnie chyba zaraz pójdę sprawdzić, czy czegoś takiego nie można kupić. Albo może zrobić? Ej, zajebiste. Tymczasem, miłego wieczoru. My widzimy się jutro. Trzymajcie się. Cześć.
But it had to end one way or another.